Hey everyone, it's Mara Allard, and today I want to talk about endurance. Something I just picked up a card, and it was the card endurance. Endurance, and then serendipity moments, and how that sometimes falls into place, and yet we sometimes deny ourselves those serendipitous moments. So, I was talking to my son yesterday, and he has sent out 125 resumes in the last 4 weeks and had so far one or two follow-up, emails. Endurance. He has to endure this period of uncertainty, of not knowing and trusting it's going to work out. That's the hardest part. We are conditioned to, if I do this, I'll get that. Or this is how it's always worked. And I've talked about this before, that the old ways of doing things are no longer working for us. So that it's like, oh no, why have I always done this, sent out resumes and got responses? Well, we are in different energy. But that being said, the old ways are closing and new ways have to be shown to us or felt or experienced. Now, what I was sharing with him is that everything we see here can be considered an illusion. I know that's a big thing to wrap your head around. But what he said is, out of the blue, out of nowhere yesterday, he received a phone call. And it was from, my son is getting laid off from a very big tech company out in California. And he's had really great benefits, really great salary. And this out of the blue call came from somebody who also has been laid off there and is starting a new business, to start up. And it's everything my son wants. So something dropped in, not from sending a resume, but word of mouth from somebody else, gets an unexpected phone call, has a conversation, really gets excited. But by the time he's talking to me, he's talking himself out of it. He's like, it's a startup, it's risky, it might not have good benefits, but things he doesn't even know. And he said, I need a company that's safe. And I said, safety is an illusion. You just worked for a huge company, enormous tech company, well known throughout everywhere, and you lost your job. What is safe? Define what safe is. Do what feels good. If this opportunity that just dropped in your lap out of nowhere from spirit comes to you and it excites you, follow it. Even though it may not check all the safety boxes that you want it to. Endurance. Can you endure the path less traveled? Can you embrace taking a risk that may light up your soul but may not check off the 401k plan? I talked to him about years ago, I got laid off. Before I was even a realtor, I got laid off. And I had 2 kids in high school. I had bills to pay. I definitely had to be working full time. And I took a job out of panic, out of security, out of fear, just like he was thinking, I need this safe job. Turned out being the worst job ever that I took. I lasted 9 months. I applied for another job in the city, and I had already signed everything. It didn't excite me, but it was stable and safe and secure. I checked off those boxes, and then out of the blue, I didn't apply for it. I didn't ask for it. I received a phone call from somebody who knew me and wondered if I'd be interested in a job locally. Now, I was going to be commuting into the city, to Boston at the time, and that's a headache. And this person was offering me the same salary to do a job 10 minutes from my home with Fridays off in the summer. I said yes, even though it was a job that I was not qualified for, and they convinced me I'd be fine. It wound up being the hardest job I ever had in my life, even to this day, because it was doing accounting work and math was not my strong point. I wasn't trained. I had to figure it all out myself. What that job did was teach me endurance. I stayed in that job. I learned to do hard things. I actually was throwing up because I was so stressed out because it was so hard at times. I learned and challenged myself beyond any measure. And because of that job, because of that endurance, because of doing something that just dropped in my lap, took a risk, even though I wasn't qualified, once I proved to myself that I could do that, I felt unstoppable. I then left. I created my virtual assistant business, then I created my real estate, and then I created Wind, Water, and Wisdom. All because something jumped in my lap out of the blue. I had a signed offer for an easy job in the city, but this hard job jumped in my lap, and I took it. And I endured it. I survived it, and it propelled something in me that I couldn't have seen. So my message to my son was to explore this opportunity, because you don't know where it will take you. You don't know what you will learn, and there is no true safety. We believe we are safe. It is an illusion. Nothing is guaranteed. Nothing. Anything can happen at any time. Live in the moment. Try to not fear. I can't really talk too much about this because it hasn't come to fruition yesterday, but I have been diligently trying to sell my home and trusting. Now I'm a realtor, a trained realtor, and I can push and push. And I figured that out a few weeks ago. That pushing wasn't that going to happen. It was not going to be pushed. And then I had to surrender and turn it over, endure the uncomfortable space of not knowing. Could I endure sitting, trusting that I would be taken care of? And then 2 days ago, something dropped into my lap. Not from pushing. Literally came out of nowhere. And it may really turn out beautiful for everyone involved, beyond what I ever could have imagined. So I will wait and see and endure, still waiting. But it's just a reminder to me is that to remember when opportunities seem to come from nowhere, they're divine. They're divine. They're coming to you from spirit. Here, we're gifting you this. Can you maybe look at it differently? Even if it doesn't look like it's the perfect situation, it may or it may not. It may be scary, like my son. Like, it's a startup. It's not been around for a million years. It might be like for me when I took that job and I didn't know how to do anything. I didn't know how to do math, and yet I was going to be doing tax returns. Okay, like those things push us out of our comfort zone. When we're pushed outside of our comfort zone, growth can happen. Miracles can happen. Beautiful things can happen. Share with me in the comments when something dropped into your lap, changed your direction, good or bad. I mean, to me, it was not a bad thing that I took that job that was so hard and scary. It was actually the best thing for me. At the time, I was like, why didn't I go take that easy job in Boston? But long-term endurance of that pushed me into such growth that I am forever grateful for just taking that, for having that opportunity to drop in and trusting that if something showed up like that, I should take it. And that's what I said to my son. This is showing up for a reason. This will either make you grow, it will change your direction, and if it lights you up, then go for it. The more we can surrender, I think the word we have to keep embracing is surrendering to the unknown. Because what we see in front of us, it can all go away at any time. We want to believe that things are going to be a certain way, but those are illusions. There is no real safety. We can feel that we're safe if we have all this, the right company, our health is good, but all of that is not guaranteed. So can you surrender to doing the right thing, doing the right next step? My son's sending out resumes. I was sending out resumes. I was advertising the house. But how these things are coming to us are not from the ways that we're tried and true, used to do it in the past. They're coming almost to be dropped from heaven. They're coming from belief and trust in the unknown, that we can put it in motion and then let someone else take the lead. Have a great day.